Tuesday morning on The Circle. Well, it's Halloween this Sunday and Network 10 is getting in on the act early with tonight's Your Gen Halloween special. Host of the show, an all-round really busy man, Shaun Micallef joins us now. Welcome, Shaun.
I'm not really that busy, though, because I've done most of, like, you know, your generation's in the can. That's what they say in the business. It's in the can. So I finished about this time last year doing that show.
Can we... Oh. Was it weird to be doing a Halloween special in the middle of the year? It wasn't even October then.
No, we fake it well. So it was a bit weird because I dress up as Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, we've got some
Not
vision.
like Frankenstein. People say, oh, you're dressed as Frankenstein. No. Frankenstein is the doctor who makes the monster.
That annoys
me
me
monster.
too.
You're right.
Frankenstein's monster. There you are.
There we are. So,
you even look handsome as Frankenstein's monster.
I think, I reckon Charlie's got... Well, you see, the thing was the bolts fell off. I had some bolts sticking out of my neck, and the glue wouldn't hold them, and I was preoccupied for the entire show because I didn't have bolts. Now I've mentioned it, and that's all anyone will see when they watch the show.
Now, there you are,
yeah,
real.
That's right, that scared me.
Charlie, of course, was Beetlejuice. Genius.
He's got the best costume, I think.
Can we find out what the hell's going on with Gen Y? We've got a little grab of Josh explaining his costume. I feel it to be ghoulish.
I'd be interested in hearing this. Josh, what the hell are you?
I've been asking that for a while.
I mean that kindly, Josh. What is that?
I'm Casanova.
Not really an explanation, is it? I mean, isn't the theme, isn't Halloween supposed to be about dressing up in a ghoulish way? It's All Hallows...
What did you ask?
Oh, my God. That is... Chrissy, it works for you. That is not a good one.
On the show.
Excuse me, what was that?
We wanted to be on the show.
So you got a Terry Thomas one there. You got a gap in there.
Now this is going to be good. Let's see them get it out.
It actually tastes disgusting as well.
They should flavour those.
You look great with them in you.
It actually works with you. You still, you know.
She's still hot.
She's still fine.
See? Can never trust it.
They're gone.
Hey, Shaun, I'm fascinated by the fact that you've written this book, Pre-Incarnation, which I had a crack at reading last night. Got up to page 45.
And then that's it for you? Put it down?
Then
Can't get to it?
Catatonic sleep. You put me in... No. No, but I felt like the whole time that you were actually there in my ear telling me the story. It's very Shaun Micallef-y.
Well, I suppose. I mean, a book has a voice to it, and it's a bit like radio in a way, because you're sort of sitting on the shoulder of the reader or the listener in both cases, helping... Together, you both create the pictures and everything. So that was the fun of it for me. And I'm not used to writing in such long form either. I'm used to writing, if I'm writing sketches or things.
Is that how you picture yourself, just sort of here going...
Yeah, I'd be saying something other than piss, 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 though. I'd like to hope.
Can you give us a little synopsis of the story? It's the opposite of reincarnation, isn't it?
It is, it is.
The name. Can you give us the definition of pre-incarnation first?
Well, reincarnation means you come back in another life. You come back in a future life, whereas pre-incarnation, in this case, the man is murdered and he comes back as in a previous life. Right. And then he puts himself in suspended animation and then to revive just in time to stop himself being murdered in the first place. Isn't that a fascinating story?
Just tell me, what time do you have to go back to the home?
Hey, it's a good story. Bryce Courtney wouldn't touch this. And this actually, you know, this is coming out on the same day as John Howard's Lazarus Rising, which is not a dissimilar idea. A dead man coming back to life. Except that my character's a lot more sympathetic than his.
Tell us what the blend is, Shaun. So what is it in compared to Back to the Future, Alice in Wonderland? What's the best way to describe it to someone at home?
Well, it's time travel without the use of machines, because I feel that... gee, sorry, I just noticed I'm wearing white socks.
God, it's a Michael Jackson tribute by Shaun Micallef.
Oh, no, white socks with lint.
Yes. It's actually worse than that, because I've got arrows in the back. Is that acceptable?
Please buy the book so we can get new socks.
Reebok socks, Shaun Micallef?
One is.
Have a look. I think one is a Reebok sock with an air hole in the back.
That one's not. It's Reebok Air. That one isn't a Reebok.
No, this one is.
Do they still make Reebok socks?
This is generic. What doesn't matter with white socks, does it?
I'm really upset by those socks. Can you stick around so we can have a cry during the break and come back and talk about his stage show?
I'd be delighted. So, I didn't answer your question, Georgie.
Yeah, yes, can you... So it's time travel without the machine.
Yeah, because I think that complicates things.
Right, because you weren't happy with something about Back to the Future I was reading.
Back to the Future is an enormous annoying. You seen Back to the Future, folks?
Yes.
Seen Back to the Future 2?
Yeah.
All right, well, ponder this during the ad break. Right. Old Biff, in 2015, steals the DeLorean, and he goes back to 1955, gives himself the almanac as a young man, and then he changes the future. Am I right?
Yes.
So he becomes rich and powerful and famous. Yet, old Biff manages to take the DeLorean back to the original 2015 time frame, when in fact that would have all changed once he gave them the almanac. Are you with me?
Yeah. Someone's with you in the audience.
Yeah, thank you. Somebody groaned.
Did you hear that?
I'm happy to take that on board.
Don't you say in your own book that time is not linear? It's sort of everywhere. So
Well, that's my theory. That's how I avoided any problem.
Like the string? Hang on, is this the string theory?
No, this is a singularity theory. Everything in the world, everything in history, is occurring at exactly the same time.
My brain is burning. It's currently existing. We've got to go to Nikki. She's got a really interesting offer.
Oh, she hasn't.
Welcome back. We're with Shaun Micallef, who's got a book
That was fantastic.
Did you like Nikki?
Nikki was fantastic. I underestimated just how impressive that would be. What about Nikki with
Very
two Ks?
Now, Denise, you've got a question about the book.
I have. If we read this, will we feel better about death?
Wow. Well, you're considering it, are you?
Every day I am getting closer and closer.
You will feel good about this because it means that there is no death, really. It's all, one comes back. One comes back in the past, one comes back in the future. It doesn't really matter. You're always around.
If you could come back in any era, what era would it be?
Me, I'd come back in the, I reckon, probably the 1920s. I would love to go to New York. In fact, I might as well just be reborn in New York to save the travel. Be reborn in New York and go and see the Marx Brothers on Broadway. That would be, for me, a real thrill. It's unlikely to happen, but that'd be something I'd like to see.
And one of your favourite books is Puckoon by Spike Milligan, which is a brilliant book.
Yeah. Have you had Spike on the show?
No, he's dead, though.
Is he?
No, well, he's not. He's obviously here somewhere, but...
Yeah. No, it is one of my favourite books. I got to meet him many years ago. Because he used to come to Australia quite a bit.
He lived in Woy Woy.
He did. In fact, I think his mother might have lived here.
She did.
So she immigrated here. And he was signing his books at the local bookshop, and I was a student. I didn't have enough money to buy a book. So I just queued up, and we were in a play, Aristophanes the Frogs, and I said, "Would you mind, Spike? I'm sorry, I haven't bought a book. Would you mind signing this?" So he said, "Oh yeah, all right." So he signed it, and he says, "To Shaun Micallef, you cheap bastard, Spike Milligan." Which is a treasured possession.
Now, speaking of people that you really admire, you're currently doing a fantastic stage show that I've seen that's hilarious with Stephen Curry. Two comedians that you... do you put them in terms of them with the work that they did? Yeah,
well, this is Peter Cook and Dudley Moore, I would put Milligan's the start of it all, really, with the Goon Show, followed by Cook and Moore, and that's a nice little bridge to get to Monty Python and everybody else. So they're very important to me. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of their stuff on video, and there's a little bit on audio, and there's Derek and Clive stuff, but there's the earlier, I think, funnier stuff that is lying around. But unfortunately, the BBC wiped all the tapes. So part of the purpose of this was to actually just get this out to a lot of younger people who perhaps have never heard of them. And the material, although 40 to 50 years old, Georgie saw it, still works really, really well.
Oh, there's one.
Do you do the
scene,
three? The
lead one. When they do that, I just said to Shaun in the green room, my girlfriend, and I've got to say, just looking at this vision, the chemistry between you and Stephen Curry on stage is so palpable in the theatre. It's really magical. You can tell that you just work off each other so well. But there's one scene with that particular skit where I lost it for about 15 minutes with tears in the audience, and to a point of embarrassing, I said to people next to me, "I'm just so sorry."
You have to explain that sketch because it is.
It's a wonderful sketch. It's a classic sketch. It's called One Leg Too Few, and essentially a one-legged man hops into an agent and wants to audition for the role of Tarzan. And it is the perfect sketch. It's quite a short sketch. It only goes for about a minute and a half, but it is a perfect sketch. There's not one line wasted. Denise is obviously very familiar with it. In fact, you would have seen Cook and Moore come out here, Denise, back in the 70s when they were touring this very same show. The show got its run first in Australia. They tested it out here.
I remember that they used language on one of their tapes that they did, and we were just horrified because it's language that's around now, but it was the first time I'd ever heard anybody, actually say it.
Well, this is a very clean show. This is not Derek and Clive. Stephen, when we asked him to do the show, he assumed that it was Derek and Clive material, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do it." It wasn't until after we signed the contract that it's the clean stuff.
It sounds like a hoot. Sounds
it is
unmissable. Thank you so much for coming on our show.
Come on.